Hi everyone, my name is Chris Martin. Welcome to Keto with me. It is day 91 on my journey back into keto. If you're new to my channel, check out my day 0 video where I cover the reasons why I created this video series. All right, let's roll the clip. All right, let's talk about week 13, technically days 85 through 91. So overall, it was a good week. So I lost 1.4 pounds for the week. I've been doing like more than 2 and then had a really big week not too long ago, but hey, I'll take it. So that puts me at a minus 45.6 pounds to date, down from 234.4. My new weight is, drum roll, 188.8. So now I'm below 190. So I'm super tickled about that. So looking at my averages for food, so that's 5 days, because I remember I do fast a couple of those, or 3 of those days. Well, it bleeds over to the next week. But my averages, so for fat for that week was 123 grams. My carbs were 20 on average per day for those 5 days. And then my protein average is about 76 grams for those days. My overall macros for the week was 76% fat, 4% carbs, and then 20% protein. So good numbers overall. So I'm really pleased with it. My 7-day averages, which are like blood glucose and so forth, my blood glucose was 80 for week 13. My average ketones were 2.5. My average Dr. Boz ratio is 34, and then my average GKI was 1.9. So I'm really tickled about how everything's just going as planned. During week 13, I started my 7th 72-hour fast. I have since completed it because I'm recording this a couple days later. So that went really well. My meals for the week, week 13 were, I had a pizza bake, which was delicious. It's very simple, like just pepperoni cheese and, some sprinkled chicken and some other stuff on top, and it's just delicious. And then this one I gotta tell you about, a broccoli cheddar quiche. It was a recipe that my wife found online. It has like eggs, it has bacon, it has ham, broccoli, obviously, cheddar cheese, and I think there might have been a couple other things in it too as well. But when we put it all in, I put the whole recipe in, and then I looked at it, I was like, wow, just from the start, it's like 74% fat. So I was just like, wow, this is a good meal to have like in the arsenal, and it was absolutely delicious. Because sometimes we do breakfast for dinner, but having something different like that really is good. Also had Italian sausages and my favorite, salmon patties. You're going to see that a lot. And lastly, we did get Chipotle one of those days. So other than that, it really wasn't that an eventful of a week. So here's to being under 190. Let's go ahead and talk about my goals. All right, let's talk about week 13 goals. That's days 85 through 91. So, on the spreadsheet, I averaged about 7.8 hours of sleep per night. That's really good. That's staying really where I want to be, not waking up hardly at all. Certainly not getting up and going to the bathroom, like I used to do before. So I'm in beast mode on that. Fasting, my average fast was 23.5 hours for those, 5 days. 5 days. And then keep in mind that, on the spreadsheet, I have 2 of them marked as green. Those are like part of a 72-hour fast. So, overall, I'm doing great on my fasting. My style of keto is always clean as much as I can, but, I do eat some dirty keto here and there, like pepperoni and occasionally some other stuff, whenever I'm kind of forced to, not terribly twisting my arm forcing. So interesting, I just did a video on tweaking your macros where I talk about how you can, sorry, it's not really related to stuff. I should have waited until we got to the fat, carb, protein. So give me just a second on that. My overall, macros for the week, you'll see that I kind of jumped up into the 20s, like right at the 20 mark for my carbs. Yeah, I didn't know if that is the reason that affected my weight loss or anything like that, but starting in week 14, I've already kind of got it back down to like a lower number, just to see if that's the case. But my average carbs for the week was 20.4. My fat, carb, protein average for the week was 74, 6, and 20. We just talked about that just a minute ago on the recap. Nonetheless, I'm doing fantastic on all these. But what I was saying about a video, I just recorded a video called Tweaking Keto Macros, and it has a lot to do with like if you're close to like the 75, 5, and 20 or whatever you're targeting as far as your macros are going, there are strategies for getting closer to them, and you can augment it with some foods and stuff. So there'll be a link right here for you to look at that. So tracking, as always, I got my journal here. That's kind of where I scratch everything at, and then also put notes for what I'm going to do in the video, and then I also track on Chronometer, and then track some things here in the spreadsheet. So other things, meditation, relaxation, still doing about 10 minutes a day. Sometimes I'll do a little longer, but I just kind of leave it 10 minutes because that's typically what I do. Overall, for the week, I feel like I'm just, in beast mode on all of it. So again, no exercise. So, I told you guys last time I'm going all the way down to where I want to be weight-wise before I even throw exercise in it. Okay, that's it for my goals for week 13. Let's talk about my video recommendation. All right, let's talk about the video recommendation for week 13. So it's a Dr. Berry video. It's about 6 minutes and 29 seconds long. The title is kind of, interesting. It's called, I have to look on the screen here just to read it because my writing was horrible. Expensive Keto Bleep, with the SH word, with an asterisk in it. You don't need cheap keto at Walmart. So this is a really, interesting video. He owned it kind of up to the fact that maybe, keto could be expensive, depending on how you do things. But in the end, he ended up making a really compelling argument that, keto really isn't that expensive if you compare it apples to apples, or meat to meat, or, meat to something else. So he basically said, don't fall for the, the flashy keto, packaging out there, that you think you need. So just imagine, I think most people are pretty good at this, but, just imagine you walk through and you see a box and, doesn't matter if it's Costco, if it's Walmart, or wherever it's at, and you see it and it says keto this, and you're like, keto brownies, that must be great, that's not going to help you a lot, really, just because of the, insulin, that, it's going to still trigger insulin, but depending on where you're at in your journey, you could maybe make that work. But some of the ones that he gave as an example that I thought they were really good, that are very, very misleading, but, the big product companies have figured this out, how to get you to buy it. Quest bars. Okay, any bars on any diet really don't work. I think all of us have figured out that by now, but he kind of said, look, just look at everything if you weighed it per pound compared to, per pound of meat or whatever it is. He said it would cost you like $16 a pound if you were trying to go for just, comparing pounds to pounds. Interesting way to look at it. I look at it and go, yeah, bars are probably not ideal on any diet, like I said. Keto creamer, he gives this $26 a pound thing, but just putting the word keto on it doesn't mean that it's technically keto. You can actually use, cream or heavy whipping cream and stuff in place of it. Atkins, he basically said Atkins anything. He said he loves Dr. Atkins, but the people that bought the name and the rights to it have just, exploited the name for pretty much any type of product and packaging. Slim Fast Keto, jumped on the bandwagon. Keto supplements, he said there's really no supplements that you really ever need on this. He even mentioned that you don't need the exogenous ketones, but I disagree slightly on that, just because of, what Dr. Boz's compelling argument that, use exogenous ketones to get over the keto flu. So the last time I bought some exogenous ketones, I just shared them with any other person that started keto because I have tons left. I only needed them during that 2 or 3 week period or 2 or 3 day period that I suffered from it. And it really did help. But so what do I do with the rest of the bottle? Well, I just shared it, and stuff like that. So I think those, but any other keto supplement, I just think is, I agree with him 100%. You can suffer from the keto flu in the future, but you would actually have to kind of increase your carbs so high and then try to come back on it, and you get, that's that fuel switch over, that is where you kind of get that at. So you just have to remember that. Let me get here to the rest of my notes. Keto granola bars, he just said, really, those, not even possible. So, and then he went right to the, good foods. Some of he mentioned was like ground beef, typically averages, $4 a pound, depending on when it was recorded and so forth. Broccoli, blueberries, bacon. I get my bacon at Costco just because I can get those 2 big packages, and it's significantly cheaper than it is if you get it at, another grocery store. Yes, you did hear blueberries, by the way. I don't eat a lot of berries yet. Those are plans for when I get to goal weight, and then I kind of start putting some carbs back in, not a whole lot, but, I'm going to put some stuff back in. Eggs. And then, wow, when he mentioned eggs, he mentioned there's an eggshell video that he tells you how to get good calcium out of using the eggshells. I'm going to go look up that video. Maybe I'll do that one for next week, because I was just intrigued that he said eggshells, and he mentioned it, he had a little link to it and all that. So I'm really intrigued. And then he said nuts. You can buy mixed nuts or nuts, and he's just making a very compelling argument that if you compared pound to pound and then quality, like single ingredient, low ingredient compared to, those things, that you are really looking at crap. And I'm going to say that because he literally used the word crap probably 5 to 8 times in that video. Overall, it was a great video. I find that keto is a lot cheaper now for me because, my other reasoning for it is that, when you first start keto, you are eating a lot of food, and it can seem to be a little expensive, but what happens is that you almost always end up fasting to some degree, which reduces the number of meals, which reduces the amount of food you need, which ultimately makes it a little cheaper. I'm finding now that I'm going less and less, to buy things because it's made it a lot longer. So that's my video for week 13. I hope you enjoyed it. Keto, isn't really that expensive in the long run, and just think about how much of your health it's going to save. All right, that's it for my week 13 video, day 91 here. Thanks for watching it today. Please like and subscribe so you can keto with me. If you have any comments or questions, as always, leave them down below. Just remember, nobody's perfect. Be a coach, not a critic, and take care.